What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with Waiver Wire Week 2. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Post a bunch of content in the season, including Waiver Wire, start sits, rankings, all of that good stuff you need to dominate your friends and family once the season has started. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to win your fantasy championship. Hit that like button, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. Going to be posting buy lows, sell highs, and like I said, rankings, stuff like that. So check all that stuff out. Before we do, though, let's not start with quarterbacks. Let's start with running backs. So obviously, JK Dobbins went down. That was a massive injury. We all saw that. Torn Achilles, he's done for the year. That opens up a lot of opportunities, but he is not my number one ad. If he is out there, this is who I would be adding first in fantasy leagues. It's Kenneth Gainwell. I actually own him already. I've been drafting him. I thought he would be the starter in Philadelphia. 14 carries, 4 receptions in week 1, 14 of the 16 rush attempts to the team, and 4 carries out of the backfield. That's an ideal workload. They have a great offensive line there in Philly. Obviously very encouraging. If you are looking for running back help, Kenneth Gainwell will be my top ad. I think he's a guy you can play in there each and every week until something changes in that running back depth chart. But there's positive reports for him from the offseason and now heading into the real season. He is the guy. Another guy I'll throw out there here, Kyron Williams. Great ad. Received a ton of the work. 15 carries, 2 touchdowns. Received a lot of the work while Cam Akers was still in the game. Or Cam Akers really got a lot of his work in garbage time, but Kyron was receiving a ton of work while the game was still within grasp. So he would be my number 2 ad at the running back position after Kenneth Gainwell. Obviously not everyone's available in every league. And then we talked about the injury. Gus Edwards is my number 3 ad. Reason being, if we take a look at history, I just think, they activated Melvin Gordon to the practice squad, obviously. I do think Gus Edwards is a good back. I think he'll get the first crack at the job, so I do think I have faith in him in that aspect. But I just wouldn't be surprised if they, added a Kareem Hunt in free agency or add a Leonard Fournette in free agency. I don't really see them doing a Jonathan Taylor trade, but, crazier things have happened. But I just don't think, I think this backfield's going to get more complicated. I think it could be Justice Hill. For these reasons, I'm adding other guys before I target the Ravens backfield this week. And then taking a look at who else. Another name I will throw out there, Joshua Kelly. There's been some rumors that Eckler might not be ready to play in this game. And we look at in the last game, this might have been because Eckler was banged up, but 16 carries. It was good on the ground. Got a goal line carry. I think he's a guy that's definitely worth an ad. Week 1, 2 is the time if you would play on a free agent acquisition budget or something like that, or you just have top waiver wire priority. I am using it in these early weeks because this is when you can add the fantasy studs that can make a difference for you for the rest of the fantasy football season. The big thing is, too, when you look at the fantasy's weekly game, but you have basically every week of the season left, it gives them a ton of time to make an impact on your roster. And then after that, if I had somebody else I am looking to add at the running back position, I would add Justice Hill. Let's go take a look at some of our wide receivers for this week. Puka Nacua is my top ad. You'll see the reason why. It's real obvious. Puka was a player, again, who was receiving a lot of hype throughout the season, but look at this number, 15 targets. Any player who's receiving that type of target volume is going to be a worthwhile ad. Now, the one thing I'll point out about Puka, if you don't need wide receiver help right now, I might go with, a Gainwell or something like that. Honestly, pretty much regardless whether I need wide receiver or running back help, I'm just going to go for either Gainwell or Puka or, take a look that way. The reason being, though, with Puka that I am a little bit hesitant or, long term is Cooper Kupp is going to be back. When that happens, I think it definitely hurts Nakua's draft stock. But like I said, there's a positive drumbeat for this guy coming into the season. Play San Francisco next week. Not the best secondary, but a great defense. I still think you can roll him out there, but he's still my top waiver wire ad for this week. Next up, my next highest ad, Nico Collins. He's owned in a lot of leagues, but if he's available, 59% of leagues he's rostered in on ESPN. If he's available, though, 11 targets, 6 for 80. He looked good at end last year. I think CJ Stroud's an upgrade to quarterback position. I think Nico is a worthwhile ad. Next up, again, another guy that might be out there in your league. We just got to talk about these guys in case they are available. 19% rostered. That's surprising to me. I didn't realize he was rostered in that few leagues. But Christian Watson could miss another week. 5 targets on a ton, but he trusts him in the red zone. And he didn't play on a ton of snaps, I think, because he was slightly injured as well. I think he played in 29% of snaps. I think that number goes up dramatically in the coming weeks. Another player, Kendrick Bourne. I think he is a worthwhile ad if you're out there. This new look New England Patriots offense, 11 targets for him, 6 for 64, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, I don't know if I'll have that type of production each and every week, but a worthwhile ad in my opinion there. And then another player, it will help if I don't butcher his name, Rashid Shaheed in New Orleans. A guy who made an impact last year as a rookie, now in year 2, a lot more trusted. Only 6 targets, but 5 for 89 for that for 17.8 a catch and a touchdown. It's early, folks. I'm sorry. My brain is not quite working great these early morning records as I'm getting used to them. But it'll get better as the season goes on. At least we can hope, right? But those are the guys I would add. Also, I'll throw this out there. My number 1 ad would be Jakobi Meyers if he is available in your league. You might have to wait a week with the head injury, but Jakobi Meyers, let's see what percentage owned he is. I feel like he's owned in just about every league, but I saw on some things, 78 on ESPN, but in some leagues he's only owned in 51%. So I was like, I throw that out there. I think he's going to be an impact player the way it's looking like he's going to be utilized in Oakland for the rest of the season. Okay, let's take a look at the tight end position. To me, there's 2 guys out there that really, I think, are guys that if you're hurting at this position, you should take a look at. First, that is Zach Ertz. If you're hurting, I think there's a real good chance, Zach Ertz, 10 targets. I might even take him over the likes of Kyle Pitts, maybe not for the whole season, but especially for the first few weeks. He's going to be heavily targeted. He's the number 1 receiving option right now with Dobbs at quarterback. They said they're going to start him again. He was heavily targeted last year. Maybe it's just a part of the offense, but it's pretty accurate to get targets, and you can do something with that in fantasy football. He's not going to goose you. He's going to go out there. He's going to do something. So that goes for Zach Ertz. Another guy, Luke Musgrave, played a ton of snaps. He's a rookie. Good athletic profile as well. But 3 for 50 his first game, 4 targets. I think he was on the field for over 75% of snaps. So I think he is a guy that you can definitely add. Let's move on to quarterback position. Also another name, Hayden Hurst, worthwhile add out there if you're looking at the tight end position. I don't know if I would spend a ton on him. I think I'd probably add in Hayden Hurst ahead of Musgrave. Doesn't have the same upside that Musgrave has, but I think his floor is higher. So that's my thinking there. 2 guys I think you can add. I don't know if I would play Kirk Cousins against Philly. I think Kirk Cousins is a guy who needs to be on fantasy football rosters. So, yeah, he's rostered in 89% of leagues. I was going to say, it doesn't make sense to me that he's not owned in some leagues. We see the passing volume, 44 attempts this last week. Obviously, he had the interception and the 2 fumbles, but he takes one of those away, turns that drive into a touchdown. He's got a pretty crazy week. I think he can have some weeks like that this year. If you look at his touchdown percentage, where it usually is at, and the passing volume he has in this offense now, he should be a stud for fantasy football. Another guy I think is out there, I think this guy's pretty similar to Justin Fields, who was drafted a lot earlier in drafts, but at least for fantasy football production, is Anthony Richardson. When you look at the rushing volume, 10 carries, I think that's going to continue. I think he's got a really good chance at double-digit rushing touchdowns this year. He was able to get enough done on the ground or through the air to supplement that rushing value. I think he's a guy you can plug into your lineup just about every week, especially in the good matchups, which he's got this week against Houston. I like that. I'm willing to play him. I think you can play Brock Purdy against the Rams as well, but I definitely think I'd go with Anthony Richardson as my top ad and play this week. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. This has been Fantasy Joe. Thank you guys for watching.